Man. I tried to tell y'all, man. I tried to tell y'all as soon as Jason would grow a pair of nuts and do something to showcase who his true ride or die teammate is in this game, it would immediately backfire on them. Now, you guys saw my premonition. I thought by him saving Kevin, I thought it would force people to turn Raven on Jason specifically. But right after the fucking veto ceremony, the shit went down. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our 15th rant. This is Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. And I am your humble host, Dave Smith. And let's get into it now, why don't we? Because this is going to be a ratchet-ass episode, okay? Because we pretty much know what's going to happen on Thursday. This is just the drama. This is about the drama. And this episode is entitled Cult Karma. Because, you know, hot take, I don't feel bad for Kevin. I don't feel bad for Jason, okay? If you enable this amount of buffoonery to get yourself further in this game, then you cannot blame anyone but yourself when that same buffoonery is now pointed at you and now you have to deal with it. You guys had the opportunity to take out Josh over Ramses. You guys had the opportunity to make all of these different moves throughout the game. But I'm going to get into all of that. But let's start it all off with how we got here, ladies and gentlemen. The veto ceremony is going to happen later today on Wednesday night. From what I'm being told, of course, Jason won veto, and he had this situation on his hands. He had this predicament. It's, do I stay loyal to the people that have shown that they're loyal to me when it's convenient? And do I throw my biggest ally under the bus and nominate him just to make a whole bunch of motherfuckers feel happy? Or do I do what the fuck I want to do because I'm the fucking HOH and we're tired of this system of motherfuckers thinking, cause real talk, Big Brother is not about doing what the house wants. It's about doing what the fuck you want and convincing the house your decision is the right one. That's really how the game is played. But the game has been so ass backwards this season because of all these fucking betas, floaters, and recruits. No one really knows how they're supposed to go about their HOHs. Because all they have to really look at is Cody first and Paul second. So all they can do is look at, well, the way Paul went about it must be the right way because it worked, right? His target went the fuck home, right? Well, anyway, so a fight breaks out. Matt and Raven decide to get shit lit with Jason. And in the kitchen, you guys are going to see this fight most likely. It's probably going to be on Thursday. You're going to see this because it happened after the veto ceremony. I don't see them showing this right after the veto ceremony. They'll probably do a tomorrow on Big Brother. See how it all unfolded right after the veto ceremony. Drama unfolds. You know, that type of shit, right? Well, so Matt and Raven, you know, they salty right now because they've been snowed the whole week. They're not used to being lied to this extent up into a veto competition and after it. So they don't know how to deal with this. Plus, you also have to take into account it hits them immediately that one of them is going home. And Matt, he's had this entire game that's been predicated on him not giving a fuck and him not trying. Now, all of a sudden, he wants to try. During the HOH ceremony between Jason and Alex, all of a sudden, this motherfucker's mad because they're taking their time and they're not fighting for it or they're not dropping immediately. Or it's like, motherfucker, you had your chance to try hard, bro. And you decided not to do it. So you the last motherfucker that should be pissed off now. Now this motherfucker want to start shit with Jason. Now, Matt, let's be real. You ain't really trying to scrap it out with Jason. Jason's a lot of things, but I don't think he's a bitch like you say he's a bitch. I've never seen a grown-ass man call another guy a bitch with such a high-pitched voice ever in my life, like in succession. The man called him like a little bitch or a bitch about 25 times in like a 17-minute span. Shit was crazy, okay? Then you got ready, but you said you would take one of us off. It's Big Brother. Someone lied to you, boo-boo. Get over it, right? Your best friend Paul over there has been lying to everyone that's out the fucking door. Y'all didn't have a problem with that until now. You know, Jason, Kevin, you know, Josh, all of this buffoonery he's been up to. Y'all ain't really had a problem with it because it's been benefiting your game up until now. You know, my whole thing is I always look at the game from a perspective of, okay, even if this person is creating a distraction which prolongs my time in this game, eventually I'm gonna have to deal with that problem like everyone else. Doesn't it behoove me to get rid of this problem when there's more people in the house? That way it heightens my probability of laying low after I get rid of the distraction. See, the people in this house, they'd rather keep the distraction around because they think that distraction will take them real deep into the game. Well, now we're at a part now where that distraction is continually being the same exact distraction. See, Josh, the thing Josh got going for him right now is he's consistently been a buffoon, right? What you can say about my rant videos is I've consistently said whatever the fuck I want to say, right? And when you start off with that type of being that reckless, not giving a fuck and just speaking your mind, then from that point further, people don't know what you're capable of saying. So now you get a pass for saying crazy shit. Whereas the other guy, since he's been playing a clean game or is trying to be above all of the tactics this guy's using over here, now he's forced to either A, expose his game or contradict his entire morality compass by flipping and doing the game that he's been opposed to for the past few weeks, or he's forced to double down on what he has been doing and separate himself from the buffoonery. Well, Jason and Kevin, they're at that moment now where they have to do it. But the thing is, it's not enough numbers. Cody's gone. Mark's gone. Elena's gone. All of the people who would have helped you separate yourself from this buffoonery, you let walk out the fucking door one by one. And that goes for Kevin and that goes for Jason. Kudos to Jason for finally growing some nuts when it came to Kevin. But I feel like both of y'all should have saw this in Alex a long time ago. And Kevin, for the most part, it just seems like he was bullshitting around, assuming Alex would always like him. But he sees her behavior. But I'm going to get into that. So anyway, Matt and Raven, they're pissed off, okay? So they're trying to expose Jason's game in front of the whole house. And of course, the entire house is walking around the situation, just chilling, acting like they're, just sipping, you know what I'm saying? Just listening, eavesdropping, because they want to know this information, just in case there's some information that they aren't privy to. Now, shout outs to everyone in the house. No one really jumped in on this argument. But to be fair, it was 2-on-1 to begin with. So maybe they didn't feel like it was necessary. Plus, at the same time, Paul doesn't want to he doesn't want to mess up his game, because if he jumps in this argument, then Jason can say, well, hold up, Paul, you knew I wasn't going to use this video before I didn't use it. So why are you all of a sudden mad? You knew about this shit like 12 hours ago. See, so Paul was very careful with how quiet he was. Christmas was very careful with how quiet she was. And Josh, for once in his life, he chose not to be a buffoon yet. So the shit breaks down. The biggest mistake Jason made in this situation, in my opinion, as soon as the veto ceremony's over, as soon as these motherfuckers want to blow up on you, say, would you like to speak to me? Okay, follow me up to my HOH room. That's what I would have said immediately. That way, if y'all motherfuckers want to yell, do all that other shit, you're gonna look thirsty for people to hear what you're saying if you're yelling from the HOH room. It's just me and you two in that room. No reason to yell. But by doing it in the kitchen, they're doing it because it's like I always say, man, the louder you are, the more guilt you either show or the more truthful you show that you are. It's a fine line. If you're so mad, people are going to go, man, he must be telling the truth. He's taking this really personal. But then if you get a little bit too crazy, people are going to go, oh, he has something to hide, right? Well, I feel like Matt came off as a motherfucker. Like, first off, it was out of his character to call a father of two a bitch. Like this reminds me of LeBron versus Draymond Green. It's like, you can't call a father a bitch who's taking care of his family. You can't call that guy a bitch, okay? Now, if you're talking from strictly a game perspective, well, all of y'all are bitches because all of y'all are Paul's bitch. So what's the point of pointing out who's a bitch? That's the pot calling the kettle black, right? So that's like Josh saying, it's like Josh walking up to Raven saying, you have no chance to win the game. Like, what? Like, nigga, you ain't got no chance to win the fucking game. But anyway. But yeah, so it goes down. It goes down in the DM. Shit is cracking. Jason is doing a lot of explaining, okay? But my whole thing is, Jason, you should have took him up to the damn HOH room. And you should have had a private conversation with him. Now, everyone in the entire house can paint this picture on Jason as a liar, which will set up all of my predictions for next week, where I think they're going to still throw the HOH to Raven. Okay, because she's going to be pissed, which will lead to her putting up Kevin and Jason because, damn it, she's warranted. And this goes back to why I told you guys in the last rant, why I said Jason was better off, instead of nominating Matt and Raven, he was better off nominating a variation of Raven and Christmas. Because if you nominate Raven and Christmas and don't use the veto, then yeah, I guess 4 people could be mad at you instead of 2. But you're not really choosing to throw a couple under the bus completely. They still have to campaign versus each other. It still creates more tension amongst the 2 groups of 2s than it does those 2 groups of 2s versus your group of 2, right? So I'm looking at it from that perspective. On top of that, if you still win a veto, you can still backdoor Paul. You could backdoor Josh if Josh acts out of body after the veto. Well, actually, you couldn't do it if he acted out of body after. That's why they act out of body after these veto ceremonies, because they know they can't be put on the block. It's like, oh, now I'm going to grow some balls, right? Which makes Matt look like a hypocrite. It's like, bro, okay, Jason was lying to you and Raven this whole time saying he was going to use the veto. What was he supposed to do? Tell y'all the truth from the get-go? I'm not using this shit? Was he supposed to say that to you before the veto ceremony so you fight harder for it, Matt? Was he supposed to say that to you right after the veto ceremony so you can go and campaign and get all these other people to get Jason to use it, which happened anyway? Like Jason, you guys are mad at Jason for playing the game? Why are none of y'all motherfuckers ever mad at Paul for playing the game? Right? No one's ever mad at him for playing the game. You know, he can use every dirty tactic in the book. That's fine because of a pregame alliance in September of 2016. That's perfectly fine, you know? And Matt, I mean, you reap what you fucking sow, bro. But the reason why this is called cult karma is because everybody who's being treated like shit this week, what do they all have in common? They were so strong with this team a couple of weeks ago. They were so strong. Didn't want to help nobody on Cody's side. Look at them. They're crazy. Look how they alienate themselves. You're acting like Cody, man. You're acting like Cody. Like, you know how many times I saw someone like Jason go out of his way to point out how if somebody is like chilling by themselves. Like he said this to Mark last week a couple of times. He said, man, don't go into rooms by yourself and just chill out by yourself. That's that Cody shit. That's what Matt said about Jason whole time. Because what happened was after the veto ceremony, I guess Jason hid in the storage room. Some people would suggest he just, stood there, let things settle down. It's a common game move. Even Chilltown did shit like this. So for you to point out someone like Jason doing it, it doesn't make Jason look like a beta, okay? It makes him look like a savvy game player for knowing he did something that's going to create shockwaves and trying to avoid getting his game blown up in the process. But Jason, you should have, if you're HOH, you go to the HOH room, bro. You don't go to the fucking storage room where someone can act like they're going for a fucking, they're trying to get a fucking, some granola bars, but in reality, they're looking for you, and then they see you in that damn room. Now they got all these questions, right? Then you're trapped. Whereas at least the HOH room, you can lock the fucking door. I would tell motherfuckers I'm taking a dump. There's no way for you to prove I ain't taking this damn dump, okay? I will spray a whole bunch of Lysol around the room so you can't tell. Okay, but that doesn't make you a bitch for trying to avoid conflict when you're HOH, Clearly he knew by saving Kevin, by the way they've been talking about Kevin for the past couple of weeks, he's been privy to all of this conversation. So he knows what they had planned. And the fact that he still had his homeboys back, that says a lot about you, Jason. It does. But you still enabled a lot of racist behavior within the house. So I'm going to take the same approach that I took with Cody. As a human being, I think you're a dick. As a player, I think you're okay. I think you're pretty cool. But the problem is you're aligned to Alex. And really that's the real story of this rant video, ladies and gentlemen. Alex has done so much talking about Kevin this week that it's disgusting. Don't get it twisted. But people are trying to twist this around like it's worse than Dominique's. Rewind that shit. Pull that rope back. It seems like every time something bad happens to a white guy, every time something happens bad to a white person in this house, everyone tries to act like it's worse than blackface. It's like, no, it's not, dog. No, it's not. Y'all call this nigga Kevin the Godfather. If he can't take this shit and he's being called the Godfather, well, y'all need to stop calling motherfuckers shit, okay? Because he's supposed to be the Godfather. That automatically makes people assume that you are rhino-skinned and that you can take criticism and that no one can truly bully you because you can bully them if you really want to. Calling someone the Godfather, it makes a lot of people assume a lot of things about that person, which is why in the last rant, I wasn't okay with calling them that. Now, all of a sudden, everybody wants to feel bad. When did anyone feel bad for Corleone? When did anyone feel bad for them? Okay. I don't remember people. Okay. Yeah. Some tragedy happened here and there in the Godfather movies, but when did someone ever like go, damn, you know, I really pity Michael right now. Like, no, Michael had it made. Okay. And the same can be saying for Kevin if he played a good game from the start, okay? Like, I'll tell y'all this right now. Imagine if Kevin was 20 years younger. If he was 20 years younger, there's no way Kevin would have played the same game. There's no way people would have appreciated the same game. It's like people want to choose an old guy to root for, right? It's like it's such an improbable victory that everyone wants to see. Like, oh, come on. He's the only person who could take down Paul. I'm hearing people say that. How's he the only person who could take down Paul when he can't win shit? That don't even make sense, coach. Like what? You know? But all in all, Matt and Raven, they went off on Jason. Jason, I mean, he gave them all of the right answers. Now, the reason why this fight is important is because the friendship cult, they are pussies, okay? When a fight goes down and not enough of someone's game gets blown up in the process, they orchestrate another fight to transpire soon after. You know, same thing could be said for when Jess was going at it with Raven. Raven was like, fuck you, motherfucker, and you fucking, you know, and she just kept throwing all them F-bombs around, right? And then Jess and Cody went inside the backyard. Then all of a sudden she follows them into the backyard. That's why you told me Cody has a big dick. Like, you know, and that's when she started losing herself and shit like that. That was round 2. Jessica whooped her ass in round 1, you know? So they was like, you know what, fuck this, 10-on-2, let's go. We'll win the second round, yeah. You know, and that's the truth. So with this shit, Matt and Raven, for the most part, they think they won the conversation with Jason. I mean, Jason never had to raise his voice. He never got out of body. He never got overly aggressive. I mean, he's talking to a woman, so he can't really be too crazy with it anyway, talking to a lady. You got to have a certain level of control and restraint in that situation. But when you add Raven to the equation, it's even harder to keep your self-control because you know all the damn lies this chick has come up with in this game. For her to try to blow up your game for telling her a lie, that's just blasphemous, right? And then and it's like, how are we supposed to take you seriously? You know? And if Jason wasn't still so connected at the hip to Alex, he could have used that opportunity to blow up everybody's fucking game. Like Matt and Raven. I don't know what the hell's wrong with y'all, but it's time for y'all to get a fucking clue here, okay? Damn near everybody in this house knew I wasn't using this veto before I didn't use it, okay? You seem to be the only motherfuckers that was left out the loop because you were on the damn block, okay? So you can go ahead and get mad at me and call me a bitch, but there's a lot of motherfuckers right now that you think is going to align with you next week that knew this shit that didn't tell you, okay? Like, that's what I'd be on. But see, if you do that, then all of a sudden it starts another 7-on-1 fight, and everyone's scared of being bullied. You know, so much bullying has been allowed by production that people just assume it's going to continue, okay? And that is a negative. That is a black spot, a dark spot on the production crew, because if people just expect this bullying to continue, then no one is going to ever stand up to it because they're going to be in fear. It's going to happen to them until they leave, just like it happened to everyone else. So after this Matt and Raven fiasco with Jason goes down, I've been talking about this for a while. Then all of a sudden, Josh, you know, the guy from like a week ago that stood up to Paul and everyone was clapping for him, he was like, I'm a human being. I refuse to do that, to do what I've been doing to Mark and Cody. I refuse to do that to Kevin. I like Kevin. Kevin's a nice guy. Kevin's like a father figure to me. I call him abuelo. He's like a grandfather to me. You know, talking all that shit, all the Josh fans giving him all this credit for having some type of a moral code when it comes to his buffoonery, which doesn't make sense. So they're giving him all this credit. Oh, see, Josh does it. It is levels to this shit. Josh won't do this shit to an old man. Everything is great. 1 week later, what goes down? Josh says, you know what? Paul makes up some lie to Josh about how it has something to do with the 25K, basically. And it's funny because, like Raven talked about, Paul is pissed that Kevin, when I say Raven, I mean the nice young lady who was on one of my previous rants, 2 rants ago. She said that Kevin that Paul was pissed off about the fact that Kevin told Josh a long time ago about him having a 25K. Pissed off Paul because Paul assumed that Kevin was telling him all this information and telling no one else. So now that Paul knows that Kevin has been playing more of a 360-degree game and less of a linear rely on Paul game, then that's when Paul started really targeting him. And somewhere around that conversation started him planting the seeds to Josh and making Josh want to blow up Kevin's game. Now, I don't know how exactly one-to-one happened, but I know that Josh all of a sudden started fucking with Kevin. And Kevin got to a point where he started losing. He's just like, shut the fuck up, Josh. Just shut the fuck up, bro. You know what I mean? Because it's so ironic. It's like all of these people have been on this side of the battle, watching Josh do all this goofy shit in front of them. And they've just been laying back and looking at the attack dog go at it, right? And then the minute the attack dog starts facing them, then all of a sudden, you know, they just want to look at the attack dog and go, shut up, as if the attack dog listens to reason, as if the attack dog is a logical person, right? Now, all of a sudden, people want to tell Josh, like, just calm down. Don't be this guy. And Josh is going to be whoever the fuck he wants to be because Julie Chen and production have gone out of their way to give him power and enabling this meatball shit. Okay, so of course Josh is the motherfucker who thinks I'm important. I'm one of the all-stars of this season. I'm gonna do what I want to do. So of course Josh starts some shit with Kevin, and you know Kevin, you know he almost rushed his ass. He said, "You better not mention nobody in my family." Ran up to him, then all of a sudden, down, we'll be right back. Hit you with that shit on the feeds, and I thought it was very funny because. Wasn't Kevin the same guy who jumped in between Mark when he ran up on Josh and About That Life rant? Wasn't that Kevin who did that? Isn't it ironic how the same person who can try to beg and plead for mercy for an idiot, right? A few weeks later, that idiot turns on them, and now all of a sudden they're in Mark's shoes trying to run up on that nigga. See? Now y'all have reaped what y'all have sowed in this game. And trust me, this doesn't make this season any better in my eyes. People are saying, oh, they're finally attacking each other. Great. Now I can have some satisfaction and see. No. This shit is garbage. I don't want to get into spoilers of another show. Let me not get into that. But to me, Josh he's a dragon. In Game of Thrones, you just send the dragon. It seems like I'm giving Josh too much credit by calling him a dragon, but he's a tool. He's someone you send to go create destruction, right? But he's not the one you send to restore anything. That's not what Josh can do, and that's what the social game is, restoring burnt bridges. That's what the social game is about. Josh goes around, burns bridges all the time. Paul comes around, restores them shits, and makes Josh think that person's still on the outs with everyone. That's what Paul does. Paul is doing jury management while Josh destroys his jury management constantly, one by one by one. And everybody is so pissed off about how he treated Kevin. But honestly, I'm not. This is the Godfather, ain't he? He can't take this bullshit from Josh. This was nowhere near. Now, don't get it twisted. Josh did say some fucked up shit, but he didn't say nowhere near enough fucked up shit in my eyes. He didn't call him a little man like he tried to call Cody one. You know, Josh just was talking shit. He was just trying to get in the man's head. I'm not defending Josh's actions by any means. I've been roasting him for the past like 3 minutes. But at the same time, though, I think Kevin was a little thin-skinned in that situation. Why are you even in the kitchen with Josh for, right? Why are you even in that position to retaliate for? You know? Like real talk. I'm just being honest. Jason's the HOH. Go up to his HOH room. You know? Like, I'm not saying run away from these pussy-ass motherfuckers, but at the same time, though, I mean, it doesn't benefit you in any way. I saw a video earlier today with Kevin asking Christmas, can you guys stop yelling at me? And it's crazy because if you're asking her to stop yelling at you too, then that shows that he knows. Well, not only does he know for sure that Christmas, her right hand is Josh anyway. So he knows that she was in on the bullshit Josh was pulling. So I can't tell if this is game by Kevin or if he's still just in love with Christmas and can't see the forest from the trees and can't tell that she's in on all this bullshit. But the way he phrased the question, can y'all stop lying at me? Can y'all stop yelling at me? It started to makes sense to me that he is starting to connect the dots and realize that Christmas might not be as close to him as he once thought she was. For him to even ask that question, because wouldn't he have rephrased it up? Can you please make sure, Josh doesn't yell at me no more? Like, why ask, can you all stop yelling at me no more? I mean, that's an inclusive question. And that also creates the assumption that she's part of it. And she had to have digested that question that way, but she handled it really well. She didn't lose herself in the question. She just answered it and said, woo, woo, woo. I mean, it's to the point now where Alex has taken the slop, thrown it out. She wants to make this man, Kevin, starve. This isn't even Big Brother anymore, right? Like when I watch a basketball game and niggas get into this mindset where all they want to do is fight because they're frustrated and they know the match has already been lost. Sometimes it takes a guy to go up to the dude who wants to fight and go, bro, this ain't basketball, the shit you want right now. This ain't basketball. And that's how I feel about what's going on this week. These tactics, this ain't Big Brother, bro. All this, it's a pressure cooker, man. It's a pressure cooker, man. Duck Dynasty franchise player, man. Friendship, I'm pissed. All that other shit, okay? None of that shit really matters, all right? But at the end of the day, you reap what you sow in this game. The people you choose to work with, if you enable their buffoonery, that buffoonery is going to be turned on you when there's no numbers left. Come on, man. You guys should have saw this coming. But once again, this is what happens to recruit. Eventually, somebody will turn on this guy. He'll eventually grow up. He'll eventually mature. Remember all those Josh fans that said Josh has matured exponentially? Where did they go? Once he starts treating Kevin like dog shit, they disappeared, went into their little wormhole again, right? Like, shit's crazy, dog. Alex is doing a lot of crazy shit. She's accused Kevin of being like a child molester. I mean, damn, I've already told y'all she took away the slop so he can't eat. I'm sure they've replaced that by now because they have to. But I mean, Kevin is so sad, man. He's already admitted to going to the DR with like a bag of some of his clothes and trying to get the DR to hold it down so someone can't take his clothes and vandalize it or hide it. Or it's like, man, this dude is damn near 60 years old. Oh, maybe he's damn near 50. I don't really know Kevin's age. I assumed he was in his 50s, but bro, if a dude damn near in his 60s got to worry about all this, and this dude is being pushed heavy by production, okay? He's on most of their promo commercials. If it doesn't include Paul, it has some type of ending quote of Kevin's in it, right? So they've been pushing this guy really hard. So they're going to either A, have to be truthful in the edit and show all the bad things they do, or they're going to fall right into my opinion that they're going to cover all of this bullshit up yet again. Okay, because they need Alex to be looked at in a positive light. And by proxy, that guarantees Paul continuously is in a positive light. Because anyone who swears their allegiance to Paul all the way to the end, if they're looked at in a negative light, it looks like Paul was always on the negative side. So they'll probably wait until the very end to really throw Alex under the bus. That way it seems like Paul is the hero. But until then, with all of these numbers, they're going to continuously make it seem like Jason and Kevin are most likely the ones who are flipping on everyone else because they're going to be going in next week 5 versus 2. And that's going to be probably how they edit the show. That's probably going to be how it happens. Now, it's going to be hard for them to do that without some type of backlash, especially considering the fact that Jason, he's being showed as this all-American family man. He's got the hero edit. Then on top of that, you got Kevin, who has that confessional game on lockdown. He has a somewhat hero edit, So it's like, how are they going to make sense out of Paul's alliance turning on these two brothers? Because let's be honest here. It doesn't really make sense for Paul's alliance. Paul said he wants to take all of these groups of twos to the end. That's fine. But at the same time, Paul, this guy is taking out Matt, who, even though he acts like he doesn't give a fuck, let's say by some fluky imagination, someone on Paul's side decides, like right now, they say, you know what? Why are we keeping Raven? We should keep Matt because he's the only one who can truly beat Jason and beat Kevin when it comes to a veto or something. What if someone decides to do that? I'm just throwing this out there. This won't happen. Matt's going home on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm throwing this out there, right? Then that would mean Raven's gone, Matt stays, right? And then all of a sudden, Matt is the motherfucker who could gain some more on his resume, and now he has a reason to stay in the game, and he could probably do some comps down the road, but most of the comps down the road are mental, though, which is why they want to keep Raven, because, I mean, she's dumb as a box of rocks, man. It's just what it is, man. And I'm looking at all these fights, and I'm like, why are Matt and Raven so full of themselves? Why is Josh, a week after saying he refuses to do it, well, you do it, Paul? You know, Josh growing some nuts. All of a sudden, Josh want to go up to Chris and say, I think Paul is playing all of us. It's like, what's the point of having all of these thoughts? You know, I'm believing that Josh, he didn't come up with all of these ideas on his own. I think production and the DR is asking him a lot of questions and phrasing it a certain way that anyone with any type of brain that understands context clues can decide for themselves, oh, Paul must be deciding to do something else with other couples. It must be something that has to do with that. But at the same time, though, Josh, come on, bro. And see, it's funny, though, because Alex, all of the shit she's doing right now, it's going to be even more funny when Josh gets sicked on her. Because I told y'all who my final four is going to be, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Christmas Rousey, Paul, Beta Hamian, Josh, and Raven. And even if Alex makes final five, if she does not win that HOH or veto, bruh, Paul is going to make sure Josh talks that shit to her all week because Paul doesn't want to be looked at as the motherfucker who turned on her. He wants it to seem as if Josh is the one with a personal problem with her. Christmas is the one by proxy with a personal problem with him. And it was out of Paul's hands because they were in the final five. And if they have two people voting for her, you know, because most likely it's going to probably be a variation of Alex sitting next to Raven, right? Now, let's say Paul is the HOH. Well, actually, if Paul's HOH, I don't think he can put Alex up. I don't think he can. I think Paul is going to try to throw the final five HOH just to have the final five veto. That way, at least if he has the final five veto, he can dictate some things without having all of the blood on his hands, which is why I expect Paul to win the final six HOH and let next week's HOH go to whoever. Because if it's a 5 versus 2 with only Kevin competing in HOH, that's not an HOH Paul needs. Paul needs the final 6 one. Because if Jason or Kevin are going into the final 6, which they most likely are going to be unless Kevin wins a Christmas comp, then we're in a situation where, let's say Paul wins final 6 HOH, just 5 people battling. All 6 people now compete for veto now, right, in the final 6, because only 6 people playing veto anyway. So now you got Paul, he's safe for the week. He's guaranteed final 5. Okay, he's going to want Raven, Josh, and Christmas to be guaranteed a spot in the final 5. So he's going to be working extra hard to get rid of the other member of the Jason Kevin contingency or Alex, right? And I think he wants that HOH to guarantee Alex makes it to final 5. I think that's why that HOH is very imperative for someone in Paul's position, because that final 6 HOH, it's like I be saying in Big Brother, even number HOHs are the most important ones to win. And in Survivor, odd numbered people left is the best time to flip. You know, those are the 2 best times. The games kind of flip on their own heads depending on if it's even or odd. But it mainly has to do with the numbers that play in veto and Big Brother and shit like that, because it's always an even number playing for veto until you get to the final 5 type shit. But yeah, unless you're Christmas, right? Then it's always 5 people competing for veto. But yeah, man. But I mean, I don't want to make this rant video too long. I just wanted to give y'all a quick little update on the drama that's been going on. I mean, Alex has been talking out her ass, man. Like I just don't understand how you can make a man starve. I don't understand how you could call him a child molester. I mean, she's been saying a lot of reckless shit. I mean, they're talking about this man's life at home. They're talking about his kids. His kids are getting on Twitter. They're talking about they don't want nothing to do with this, that, and the third. And I had to crack a joke because it's funny to me. You know, every time Kevin did some dirty shit towards somebody who was loyal to him earlier in the game, Kevin just kind of chalked it up to, oh, man, we're still cool. You could come to my crib for Thanksgiving, bro. I'm the Godfather. Come eat. Man, nigga, fuck your turkey. Remember that shit? Okay. All right. I bet you he don't he don't invite Josh's ass to his Thanksgiving dinner this year, boy. Josh ass gonna show up to that motherfucker. I'm a human being. It's time to give thanks for all of the friends you've acquired over time. Everyone gonna be looking at that nigga like, nigga, this ain't the Dinner for Schmucks 2 movie set. What the hell wrong with you, Josh? Boy, if you don't get your ass back to Miami, boy, your beta ass. People out here trying to give Josh credit. He's lost so much weight. Oh, my God, the slop diet. Man, I don't give a fuck what weight he losing. I want to see people play the damn game. And it's like, man, I've hated this friendship code alliance from day one, which is why this cult karma is great to me, ladies and gentlemen. It's great seeing all of you, okay? Because there's tons of Kevin fans. Now all of a sudden the Kevin fans are seeing the truth. Now all of a sudden they're like, you guys were right. He should have aligned with Cody. I regret everything I said. Oh my God, the way they're treating him. But the thing is, if you're a real Kevin fan, if you're a real Jason fan, how did you not see this happening? What did you think was going to go down? They've gotten rid of every single strong male competitor they can find. The only strong male competitor left besides Paul is Matt. Well, Matt in theory, but it's Jason, right? And he's HOH. They can't target him. They tried to get Jason to pull a Zach from Big Brother Canada 3 and nominate Jordan Parhar, and he wasn't going for that bullshit. He wasn't going for that bullshit. How you gonna be mad at a guy for not nominating his best friend? What? Like, huh? That's like if Christmas went HOH and somebody tell her, we need you to backdoor Josh, and she doesn't do it. And then everyone starts attacking her for it. Like, what? Huh? ¿Qué? No habla inglés? You know what I mean? Like, it's like at some point, your entitlement, you know, it has reached unsurpassed places, okay? Because I'm looking at this game and I'm not understanding how any of you can be mad at Jason for making a sound game decision. You were going to send him home next week anyway. Like, what the fuck? Like, only difference is they probably would have let someone like Matt win the HOH next week. You know, that's the only real difference in the whole situation. Or maybe they would have still gave it to Raven, you know? Because I have a theory. The same way I tell you guys, I think Big Brother wants a showmance, one person to live without the other, then them to come back and live without the other one, which it already happened with Cody and Jess. I think the same thing applies when it comes to the people that they cast for this show. I think if possible, they want every single person that makes jury to win HOH. I know it's highly improbable, highly hard to do, but I think production would like Raven to get an HOH. And they've been participating in the Raven Exposed party, but I think they would get a kick out of people being so annoyed with Raven getting all this confessionals and shit. I think they feel like they can do a lot editing wise if she has an HOH to herself. I feel like they can do a lot of crazy, funny little sound effect jokes and all this shit in the background. I wouldn't hold it past this production crew at this point. But all in all, I mean, that's been the 15th Rant episode. That's all I really wanted to get into. Matt is still going home this Thursday. But when you guys see this fight, I'm really more interested to see how they're going to show the fight, because they have been very, very cautious with how they expose people on Paul's side. But it has to get to a point, as numbers dwindle, it has to get to a point where you got to at least show Paul in a dirty light somewhere now. I mean, goddamn, you know, there's not many motherfuckers you can just show in a positive light while they do dirty shit every fucking day. There's not many people. You know, so it's time, Big Brother. Start showing the truth, man. Show the way Kevin is being treated. And hot take, I think if they do show how Kevin was truly treated in his game, it's only to help him win America's Favorite Player over Cody. I truly think that's in the cards too. I don't think they want Cody to win it over anybody to upstage Paul. I don't think production wants that either. I think production wants everyone who went against Paul. I think they want all of them to take an L. I think that's just what it is. You know what I mean? So no battle back. And it's interesting because this is the one week where I feel like we need a battle back now going into next week. I feel like we need one. Imagine if Jason and Kevin are on the outs. A battle back happens this week. And then some variation of Cody, Mark comes back. I really want Cody because Mark, he had his chance to be a man about it. But Cody comes back in, and now Jason... And now Kevin knows niggas ain't shit on that side. And now he's telling Jason, man, you see the way Madden Raven just blew up your game? We need Cody now, okay? We don't even need Alex. Ooh. Like, now all of a sudden, it might be 3 versus 5. And now it's Cody and Kevin versus the other 5 of that HOH. And at least Cody coming back creates a shield. But you know what? At this point, I don't want Cody to deal with this shit no more. Honestly, man, I don't want him to have to deal with this shit no more, bro. Bro, for really, though. Like, no, coach, no. I know he enjoying himself, but I'm looking forward to a jury update on Thursday night's episode. I'm looking forward to that. Seeing Mark come in with Elena and Cody chilling, watching TV or sipping or whatever, and then Mark shows up. I'm looking forward to that part, but for the most part, man, I mean, this week is still trash, dog. You know, there's a lot of bullshit going on, man. I mean, when you get to a point where people are on camera comparing someone to a child molester, and no one in production is telling them to stop that. When we get to a point like that, wow. You know, it's proven now that production does not give a fuck. If you are on Paul's shit list, no stone goes unturned and no topic is off limits. You can say whatever you want if you're on Paul's side. If you're on that other side, though, don't charge him. Don't get physical. Don't get face-to-face with people and argue like Jess did with Christmas that day, right? You know, it's funny. Like, Josh is pretty much allowed to walk up on everyone he wants and just yell. No one ever says, oh, no more face-to-face confrontations, house guests. No more of that. No, because when it's Josh, they're thinking about TV ratings. When it's someone else who can actually fight, they're thinking about, oh my God, 2 people can be evicted in the next 30 seconds. Let's stop it. Right? So it's just all bias, man. Production, they know Josh's psych evaluation. They know that motherfucker ain't gonna fight nobody. Right? You know? And that's another reason why I was so pissed off with Mark's gameplay last week. You know, Mark did a lot of stupid things last week. You know, he could have been setting things up. But see, once again, man, Alex is really the biggest problem in this game. Alex is low key. When you look at these ratings on these house guests online and all of these forums, mark my words, Alex is going to be last place. She's going to be last place for a long time now. I think she's probably fast on her way, like an anvil going through water. She's on her way. Or Anchor, I mean, she's on her way to being the most hated house guest in the house, which is fucked up because it seems like all of these people that are vying for Paul's loyalty, they're trying to become the most hated house guest, so he drags them to the end. Everyone is fighting to be the GOAT of the season. And that's how I really feel. I feel like Josh only did all of that shit towards Kevin because he saw that Alex was already doing a whole bunch of fucked up shit towards not only Kevin, but also Raven, you know, and Matt and shit. And I think to a certain extent, Josh is competing with this because he knows at the end of the day, Alex is Josh's biggest threat of making it to the final 3, to the final 2. It's Alex. It's not Christmas because Christmas can't compete if they all make it to the final 3. So Josh, if he does what he's supposed to do, he's pretty much guaranteed final 2 because he's a damn buffoon. And who wouldn't rather sit next to someone like Josh with a crippled brain than someone like Christmas with a crippled leg? I'm just being honest. So, but yeah, I'm just being honest. So he pretty much hasn't made in the shade as long as Alex doesn't win out. So I think he's competing for Paul's affection, Paul's attention, Paul's love by doing all this buffoonery. And it pisses me off. And it pisses all of you off in Recency Bias Radio Nation. It pisses off all of the super fans. And the casual fans, they're just going to tune in tonight. They're going to tune in tomorrow and not know half of the shit that was done to this man, Kevin. And once again, let me reiterate this. I don't feel sorry for none of these motherfuckers. Because none of these motherfuckers felt bad for Dom. None of these motherfuckers felt bad for Jess. None of these motherfuckers felt bad for Cody. Okay? So I don't have no type of pity in my heart for none of these people. You know, it's like, okay, well, if this behavior was okay to you, as long as it wasn't you, but now that it is you, all of a sudden it's the worst thing on earth. It just goes to show that you were the person I always thought you were to begin with. And I hope this opens people's eyes on Kevin a little bit more. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, the Godfather supported this buffoonery. He supported it. So all of his kids, this ain't the time for you to get on Twitter and say, I don't want anything to do with Josh. I don't want anything to do with this alliance. This ain't the time. Because if it wasn't for that alliance and the buffoonery that was transpired prior, Kevin maybe would have been a pre-jury boot. Most old players go home early in the game. Okay? So, hey, man, don't look a gift horse. Is it called don't look a gift horse in the mouth? or some shit like that. Like, don't look at a blessing and then say it's not a blessing. Okay. You know, Kevin got 25K. He got another 8 from making jewelry. Look, he's walking out of this motherfucker with 33 racks. You know, maybe after tax, maybe it's only 20. I don't know. But he's walking out of this motherfucker with something. Cameron, this motherfucker literally was on 2 episodes the whole season. A battle back episode. And I think he was on the first episode. Yeah, I think he was only on 2 episodes. Imagine how that motherfucker feel. He didn't even have the opportunity to get bullied. So in a way, he dodged a bullet. But damn, he ain't got no money. Bully me as much as you want if I'm getting paid. Real nigga shit. But yeah, man, I mean, this season, it's a fucking train wreck, man. There's people talking about, hey, man, can we just end this season right now and get a $500K to Houston? You know what? Recency Bias Radio supports this message, okay? Yeah, let's just go ahead and have a lockout season of Big Brother. Everyone goes on strike, okay? Let's just have a lockout season. You know, it didn't count. It was cut short, okay? If y'all motherfuckers want to throw Paul some money, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Throw him the money. But let's end this shit. Let's move on. The Game of Thrones finale is over now. So now I don't have something. Well, and the Power finale is happening this Sunday. So now I really don't have things to help distract me from how shitty this season has become. I'm starting to run out of things to go to when I need something to cover up how bad this season is. So that means I'm going to have to start fixating 100% of all of my concentration back on Big Brother again. No. So, hey, man, I just want y'all to be consistent. I said this a long time ago. I believe this was on It's Time to Cancel the Feeds, my second rant. I believe I told y'all that y'all favorite player is going to do some shit that you're going to have, and it's going to put you in a position where you're going to have to abandon them completely based on their behavior. And it's going to be up to you to be that person that abandons them. And frankly, I'm seeing some Kevin people finally abandon Paul and yada, yada, yada. I mean, they started a couple of weeks ago doing this because that was when the seeds first started getting planted. I don't really see that many vocal Jason fans online. I've really seen more Alex fans than Jason. It's really weird, actually. But I think that it just has to do with the fact that Jason's following Alex. But all in all, I mean, like, I just want to ask you, Big Brother fans, who could possibly win this game? Because it's set in stone, man. Kevin's not winning the game. He's not winning the game. There's no way. So we can rule that out. And Jason, they're planting the seeds now with Jason to get rid of him too. So who can possibly win this game out of that final five, right? Who can win this game out of the final 5 of Raven, Paul, Christmas, Josh, and Alex? Who can possibly win the game out of that 5 that we'll be satisfied with? No one. So this season is going to go down in history. You know, I've been watching some Dick at Night. I've been singing Peter Brown. He's been talking a lot of shit. I don't know if he's getting paid by CBS to give all of these positive reviews of this season, but he keeps swearing by how entertaining the show is just as a show. Just look at it as a show. Take away everything else. No. You're not allowed to do that shit, Peter, okay? You got to look at an entity with all of the different you got to look at something all the way through. You can't just take away everything else. Just look at it as a TV show, as a product. It's getting ratings. It's entertaining. That's all we want, right? No. Peter, you're a fucking super fan. You know better than this. That's not the only thing we want, okay? We want strategy. We want good gameplay. We want subtlety. We want confessionals that don't feel like they were manufactured by a company. We want individuality. We want new archetypes, but more so, we want all races of people to be able to have new archetypes, not just white folks. Okay? Like, that's what we want. Man, put me on the fucking panel. I will come up with the right rules for next year. I've already told y'all, I think they should take away the power veto ceremony, and I think they should have it 3 nominations. No back doors. If you win the veto, you're off the fucking block and there's only 2 people there. And if you win the veto and you weren't on the block, you could take someone off, but you can't replace them. I think that would change the entire game. Everyone is now forced to have blood on their hands at all times. Oh, you want that HOH? You're going to have to nominate 3 motherfuckers, B. Do you really want that on you? And imagine if that happened in a season like this with Paul, he would probably by now, just because he's been running every HOH his alliance wins anyway. Imagine how much blood Paul would have on him right now up to this point. He would have maybe, well, he'd have the same amount of blood as he has right now, but it would be even crazier because if it was 3 nominations, they couldn't have had the temp competition. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't have had that unless they wanted to have a 4th nominee. And then that's when we get into some shit where we're just doing way too fucking much. But all in all, man, we need to take away some of these twists. We need to take away these vets. We need to take away the stunt casting. We need to just cast people who are excited to play the game. Okay? Yeah, it might seem like, you know, those are the people that'll be at their least entertaining because they don't know how to be on TV yet, or they don't know what it's like to have cameras. But that's what we really want. People are talking about, oh no, we want to see people make mistakes because they don't understand the game. It's much more interesting to see people do things that have never been done before in a negative light. And it's like, I'd rather see shit people have never done before in a positive light. You know? But yeah, I mean, Matt and Raven, you know, look, if y'all were somebody else, if y'all were Jess and Cody, you know, we would have actually supported this shit with Jason. But, you know, I'm cool, man. And Raven, this Harley Quinn act that you keep trying to put on, it's not working with me. Sorry. You're fucking you look like the mobile home Harley Quinn, okay? like stop it, okay? Stop trying to be crazy, all these different personalities, voices, and all this fucking makeup, all this other shit. Just calm the fuck down. And Matt, look, man, stop trying to be a tough guy when it's convenient. And Josh, it's about that time for you to start doing things, so stop trying to be a bitch, okay? It's time for you to start doing things to position yourself to win. And I hear people tell me, well, Josh could win the game because there could be enough people that hate Paul, and then he could be put in a situation where he's sitting next, if you sit next to Christmas, Josh definitely wins. How the hell is Josh going to win a final 3 HOH against Paul? How the hell is that going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? Remember, the final 3 HOH, you got to win 2 out of the 3. And the last one has to do with answering questions and knowing the house. I don't see Paul studying all that shit with Josh. I don't see it. I don't see it. Now, it could be probable that Josh somehow pulls off a Cody versus Derek and somehow wins it. I know we were all shocked when we saw Cody win it. Like, what the fuck? How does Cody know more than Derek? But things can happen. But, you know, and I definitely could see it in Josh to cut Paul off. I just don't think he has it in him to win the comp to cut Paul off. So who really cares? So really the only person who will cut Paul off, who has a chance to cut Paul off, is probably Alex. And no one wants to root for Alex to cut Paul off because no one wants her to have the chance to win it all. You know, so it's like there's no way this game. Honestly, I'm at a situation now where I'm okay with Paul winning the game. I just want the game to be over. You can win the game, Paul. Just wrap this shit up, my G. And that's just what it comes down to. So, but yeah, so I think next week is definitely going to go like I said it was going to go. I think Raven's going to be HOH. I think we're going to see Jason and Kevin on that damn block, and it's just going to be sad. And even if Raven doesn't win HOH, it's going to be Jason and Kevin regardless, unless Kevin wins the HOH, which I doubt. So look forward to Kevin or Jason going home next week, ladies and gentlemen. It's set in stone at this point because the numbers are just too fucked up. Now, if one of them happens to win a double veto and they're able to veto both of themselves off the block, then all of a sudden we're talking about an outcome that could really shake up the house. But I don't want to get too deep into that rabbit hole of conspiracy theories because at this point, production is probably just going to tell Paul, hey, it's the one at the bottom left of the tree. You know, there's ways you can lie, or there's ways you can telegraph to Paul how to get the double veto one to guarantee that Jason or Kevin go home. So at the end of the day, there's ways for production to rig this even further to get the outcome that they want. And they've done a great job. They're undefeated this season, man. They're undefeated. So, hey, kudos to you, production. One of y'all motherfuckers deserve a raise. But this has been Recency Bias Radio, the 15th rant entitled Cult Karma. If you enable any type of shitty behavior in your life towards other people, then you cannot be the person that gets out of body when it happens to you. Because if you were all for it when it was being done to the next man, then you need to be able to take it on the chin when it happens to you too. You know, if it's all just part of the game, if it's all just a pressure cooker, then when that pressure cooker gets flipped on you, you need to have that same mindset. You know, I just wish Josh had the balls to be this person to Paul, because they could go back and forth at it, just yelling for days. It would go on for days. And honestly, I don't see that ever happening, because I think the minute Josh acts like a buffoon the way he's always done towards everyone else, the minute he does that towards Paul is the minute when production is going to start saying, stop that. Mark my words, that is a prediction. If Josh ever has the same energy towards Paul, production will not allow it to go down. But yes, this has been a 15th Rant Coke Karma. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I am your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trill, all of the above on the ISAT test, ACT. You know what it is. And we're going to be back at y'all this weekend. So please like, share, comment, subscribe, the whole nine. And I appreciate it. And don't forget, man, when we get to 1,000 subscribers, it's finna get real lit in the building, man. So y'all be smooth. Y'all enjoy the rest of your hump day. You know, I'm definitely going to get into enjoying mine. Finna go up to the gym, do something real productive today. But y'all be smooth, though. And hopefully if some more shit breaks down, Recency Bias Radio will be Johnny on the spot to recap it. So y'all be smooth, man. Y'all be safe. All right, man. Peace. Deuces.